Syrian girl here. I recently published an article with Lizzy Phelan about a myth that's been going around for quite a while now that I really wanted to debunk, and that is the notion that Israel does not want to see Assad fall. And the justification for this myth is that somehow Assad is colluding with Israel and that Israel is afraid of the resultant potential government that might come about if the Syrian government falls. Now, there's a few things wrong with this. First of all, the myth itself was proliferated by an Israeli newspaper early in 2011, and a Haaretz article. Haaretz is the Israeli state media, said an article titled Israel's favorite dictator, and they claimed that Assad was, the greatest thing ever because he doesn't actually want to fight them, and they said, they reiterated these Syrian frustrations about how the Golan Heights is still in Israel's hands, and it's surprising how many usually politically aware people have bought into this myth, and it's mostly amongst the left. And when I say left, I just mean it as a shortcut for many people inside socialist, Trotskyist, Marxist, and liberal sort of humanitarian interventionists. So, if you forgive me, I'll use left as a shortcut. But in these groups, there are many people who have bought into this notion that Israel has nothing to do with what's going on in Syria right now, and that it actually is an ally, a secret ally of Assad. So, if you read The Socialist Worker, that's the sort of line that they are carrying. But what they are ignoring is history. The US and Israeli foreign policy has rarely ever differed, and it's the US that is now spearheading regime change in Syria. So it's not a great logical leap to assume that Israel too benefits from regime change in Syria. And if you look at recent history, Syria has been a roadblock for Israel. They have been funding Hezbollah, which is the force that stopped Israeli occupation in 2006. And we have heard much noise coming out of Israel against Iran. And we know that Syria and Iran are allies and have a mutual defense treaty. And these two countries are supporting both the Palestinian cause and the Lebanese resistance. So it would be a logical conclusion that Israel would benefit from breaking up the Syria-Iran Mutual Defense Treaty. And furthermore, these two countries have a plan for an oil pipeline that will rival the BTC pipeline that Israel already controls. So, there's many Zionists, high up Zionists, that have been supporting regime change in Syria since the beginning. And this is Bernard Henry Levy and Joe Lieberman. These are the men that have been working behind the scenes and meeting with the FSA to try to create regime change in Syria. And more recently, in the last few months, the mask of this myth that Israel doesn't want to see Assad go has been falling. And you have voices from the Israeli President Shimon Peres, their defense minister Ehud Barak, and their vice prime minister and their foreign minister. They all have come out and said they would like to see Assad go. So, although those people who maintain this notion that Israel doesn't want to see Assad go, well, how do you explain this? In fact, many in the Syrian opposition have been making overtures to Israel, saying that once they take power, there will be some alliance formed between Syria and Israel. The Syrian National Council, which is the government that the US set up that's supposed to take power once Israel falls, their spokeswoman, Basma Khudmani, was appearing on a French television program saying that Israel is the ideal democracy in the Middle East and that Syria and Israel should be friends. She was also an attendant of the Bilderberg 2012 conference. So it's clear that she has the establishment's tick of approval. And if we look at some other names in the Syrian National Council, Amar Abdul Hamid, Radwan Ziadi, they have all come out and said statements that are friendly to Israel. And even outside the SNC, there's opposition members that have come out and said, yes, we would like to make alliances with Israel. So it's clear that Israel is going to be a beneficiary once the Syrian government falls if the US gets its way. So this is clearly in the Israel's agenda to create a regime change in Syria. And some might say, well, the Syrian National Council doesn't represent the opposition in Syria. Well, in fact, even the Free Syrian Army had their spokesperson, which was formerly their spokesperson, Dani Abdul Dayem, appeared on CNN saying that he wouldn't mind Israel to occupy Syria if it helped get rid of Assad. So, with all this evidence, there's still people out there, not just amongst the left, but also in the Middle East and the Muslim world, who continue to believe and proliferate this myth that Israel has nothing to do with what's going on in Syria right now and would like to see Assad stay. And if you come across anyone who has these beliefs, please help enlighten them. I have linked my article below along with other articles, and I hope that it will be a help to spread the truth. Thank you.